afternoon, New Orleans. Good afternoon, New Orleans. My name is Anthony Bridges, and I'm a community development lender with NOLA Lending Group, a division of Fidelity Bank, and your 2025 treasurer for the Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. We're excited to be here and to be with you today. And I have two very special guests with me. One, you've heard on this show every week that we've been on, Mr. Edward B. Coulon Smith.
What's happening, people? This is Edward B. Coulon Smith, the chairman of the board for the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. And once again, I welcome each and every one of you to the show. So, as always, if you have something to say or you have a question or you just want to be a part of the conversation, please call in at 504-582-9422.
So the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce, founded in 2006. Our mission is to support, promote, and advocate and educate members for sustainable growth and expansion within the Black community. The Chamber is dedicated to the business development and economic empowerment of the New Orleans economy, particularly the Black communities throughout our region. And this morning, or this afternoon rather, we're here with a very, very special guest, Ms. Ayanna Foltz, realtor, mortgage loan officer, and owner of Bell South Realty Group, and the founding and board member of the Paragon Foundation. So welcome, Ms. Ayanna.
Thank you. Thank y'all for having me here.
Well, we are definitely excited to have you here. We're excited about the information that you'll bring to our listeners. And again, listeners out there, if you find this conversation fascinating and would like to join in, please give us a call at 504-582-9422. So, Ms. Ayanna.
Yeah, Ms. Ayanna. We're going to get down to the business.
Okay.
So please tell us who you are, what you do, and how you got where you at.
Okay, well, I'm Ayanna Chanel Foltz, a New Orleans native. I went to St. Mary's Academy. I'm a very proud Maryite. After Katrina, after that time, actually, my senior year was Katrina year. So I wanted to be, as close to home as possible. So I went to Nicholls State University. I majored in nursing there. The way I start out a lot of my speeches is I tell, young people, I am a nursing school dropout. I'm a nursing school dropout, picked myself back up, got my associate degree as well as my bachelor's degree from the Jackson State University. I see he has this Southern Night sweatshirt on. And then got my MBA, got all of those certifications only to get into real estate, which I always wanted to do. As a child, I would draw floor plans and talk about houses and go on St. Charles Avenue and look at the architecture. So it's a joy to finally be doing what I want to do in real estate. Last year, I got my mortgage lending license after 7 years in the business. And now we offer that service at Bell South Realty Group in addition to property management and residential real estate sales and leasing.
Well, let's stop and give a shout out to HBCUs. We have Jackson State. We have Southern University.
The Southern University.
The Southern University. Southern University in New Orleans represented. And we are on the campus of the historic Xavier University. So HBCUs are definitely represented today. So, Ms. Ayanna, tell us a little bit about your journey and what inspired you to become a realtor and eventually start Bell South Realty Group.
Well, as a child, I wanted to be an architect. And, honestly, in Black families, it's like an architect. Like, do you want to be like a doctor or a lawyer or a nurse? So just allowing the voices of others who meant well to persuade me to get into healthcare. So my first, I did 10 years. I'm saying I did 10 years like I did it in a pen, but I did 10 years in healthcare management. And honestly, I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it. And my last position was at Logistic Care Solutions. We were a Medicaid transportation brokerage. When I hate to get political, but when Bobby Jindal privatized Medicaid, he gave it to 5 MCOs. We managed 4 of their transportation services. Every Medicaid recipient also can get transportation services. So we managed that for them. I did that for 2 years as the state director of operations. And I'm like, if I can make all this money for someone else, I can more than likely start my own business and make it for myself. my father was actually the person to remind me of my love for architecture and real estate. And he was like, why don't you get your real estate license? And I did. Thankfully, passed it on the first time, and I've been gone ever since. Started my career at Delisha Boyd LLC. Once again, another full circle moment. Delisha was my first broker, and now she is a great state representative. Then I went from there to Snap Realty, where I met who I love, my real estate mentor, Kara Brighthop. And now I'm at Bell South Realty Group, which is my own brokerage. I opened it in 2021. We are a boutique real estate agency. All of our agents are homegrown, and it just kind of happened that way. They hail from all corners of the greater New Orleans area. And then we added mortgage lending powered by Capital Federal Credit Union. But we do manage a lot of doors as far as property management in the greater New Orleans area.
Well, State Rep Boyd is also a good friend of the chamber.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, being a realtor and so you're speaking my language, right?
Yes.
Because working with
So
NOLA
y'all
Lending
happy.
Group for as long as I have, you know, we understand how much real estate and home ownership means to people. So, from your perspective, what are the biggest challenges facing home buyers in today's market, especially first time home buyers?
Education. I think especially when we're looking at people of color in our community, we don't like to talk about money. We don't like to talk about finances, personal finance, and how to build generational wealth. So I just think, firstly, having that conversation and being authentic in that conversation, being real about what your financial situation is and what you have to do to get from point A to point B. That's number one. Number two is I'm seeing a lot of people waiting for the market to crash, waiting for interest rates to come down. Honestly, no one knows what's going to happen, but let's say interest rates do come down like they did in 2020, 2021. What we saw was artificial inflation where you had one home that was in high demand and you had 20 offers on it before we're even able to put out a sign. We just signed a listing agreement this morning. At 9 a.m., it's 10 a.m., and we already have 50 offers, literally.
Wow.
So what we saw was just prices rising. So now we have, people in these homes. Some of them are upside down, but they do have a low interest rate, but they can't sell right now, so they're stuck.
Right.
So if you're waiting for interest rates to go down, we're probably going to have one of those, issues again. And really what was happening is larger corporations were coming in and purchasing the homes, driving the prices up. So if it happens again, that'll more than likely be our predicament. And home prices are still high, currently. So if you're looking to buy, I like to tell people buy now and wait, because if interest rates do drop, you can refinance.
Absolutely.
And get a better, but you already have acquired the property. So you're not paying more than a property is worth, and then you're upside down.
Two
Absolutely.
questions. So you just was talking about people buying houses right now, and it's a great demand. So is this a buyer's market right now?
I would say it will be more leaning towards a buyer's market. It's kind of, I would say, in between, because we don't have as much inventory on the market as we did prior to COVID. So you do have more negotiating power as a buyer, but still the inventory isn't where it was prior to COVID. So I would say a buyer's market, just because you have the negotiating power. If those interest rates drop, you won't have that same flexibility.
Okay.
It'll be the seller making the calls, calling the shots, like it was in a very uncomfortable situation for many people in 2021.
So, and the city council has been talking a lot about the Airbnbs. And one of the things that came out during that conversation was a lot of out of town buyers. A lot of people, a lot of companies out of town buying up houses or housing to put on the market as Airbnbs. Have you seen a lot of that? Is that a true statement?
Currently, I haven't seen much of that. I mean, I wouldn't know, because it's not like they're saying this was a former Airbnb, or, once you have a conversation with a listing agent, you guys will have that conversation and find out it was once an Airbnb. But honestly, with the law change where residential, like if it's zone residential, if it's an Airbnb, it can't be 100% rented out. It just can only be up to 25%. The only way that that would work for an entire home to be rented out as Airbnb is if it's commercial zoning. I actually have a couple of former clients who are from out of town who purchased in commercial vicinities, Airbnbs that can still be operated now, but that's because they're commercial. But a lot of the stipulations that came down from City Council were for residential zoning. If they'll ever get to commercial, we'll see. But as of right now, we aren't seeing much of that. Usually, a lot of those owners of former Airbnbs have turned it into long-term rentals where they're doing Hano or just, trying to find, renters to occupy because they can no longer legally operate an Airbnb in that location.
So, being that you work with a lot of families, what are some key things you encourage people to look for beyond just the house itself?
Look at the future. Are y'all looking to grow your family? Is it just you? Do you need all of that space? Are you going to want to cut all of that grass? Especially after you put in a offer on a home, you have what you call your due diligence period. That is the time that you do your inspections. I always tell my buyer clients to also find out how much the utilities are because it's more than just a mortgage that you'll be paying. How much, call your grass man, how much is it going to be to cut this grass? If you want something added to the home, how much is that going to be? So you are educated and prepared. So just think about the whole picture.
Well, there's a very good commercial out right now on Progressive Insurance, and it talks about this lady who just bought a house, and as soon as she gets the keys, then the dude shows up with hot water heater saying that, hey, you didn't know about this, but your hot water heater is gonna go out and it's gonna flood your basement. And then they have this other person that comes up talking about fertilizer and don't put too much because it'll kill your grass and this, that, and other. And then the progressive agent comes up and say, hey, here's your policy for your homeowner's insurance, and it's gonna cover this, that, and the other. And it was like, well, I hope you don't have any more bad news. She was like, the bad news I have is I skipped a line. Then it shows this line of all these other people that you have to deal with once you buy a home and all these other things that you have to deal with once you buy a home. So that progressive commercial is hilarious, but it's real as hell.
And buying a home is an investment. Like buying a car is an investment. If the car breaks down, you have to invest to, get it back up to par because the goal is for you to get from point A to point B. I think about it the same way in real estate when you're purchasing a home. Sometimes things are going to break, but your home is your investment. And whatever is wrong with that home, more than likely it won't be more than the value of that home. So what we've been seeing is home prices rising, so your home will build equity. So, keep it up. Keep it in good, workable condition.
I know that's one of the things that we talk about when we do our housing workshops is the hidden cost of home ownership, right? And those are the kind of things that people don't necessarily think about, the rising cost of insurance, ongoing maintenance, other things like that needs to be considered before you actually go through with signing the document. The cost of grass cutting, right? It's going to be vary from neighborhood to neighborhood.
Right, because this went a long way from that little dude in the neighborhood with a mower.
Yeah. And if you have a HOA, that's more stipulations that you have to adhere to. I know some HOAs say you can't leave packages on your porch for X amount of days.
Yeah.
Your grass can't be, and if they get out there with a ruler, don't be mad.
It's true.
It's a stipulation. So just make sure that you are prepared for all of those, different requirements.
So what are some of the common misconceptions you hear about home ownership that you like to clear up for the people?
Common misconceptions. I think one of the most common ones is leaning more towards financing, and I know you probably heard this before. Like after someone is pre-approved, let's say we pre-approve them for $200,000, and the home that they find is $130,000. I get a lot of questions, them asking, well, can I pocket the $70,000? That's what they think. When you get pre-approved, this is how much home you can afford,
right, based
based on the numbers. If you find a home that's less than that, you cannot pocket the gap funds. I think that's one of the most common ones. What was the question again? Because I feel like I have many.
Yeah, common misconceptions you hear about home ownership. And I know one of that as I do my road show throughout different communities is that people just assume that they still have to have 20% down to purchase a home, right?
Yes.
And of course that
That's a good
is
one.
certainly not the case anymore. Or that you have to have an 800 credit score, and I've even heard people that haven't applied for a mortgage because they felt like they needed to be on a job for 7, 8, 10 years, right? Whatever stable employment looks like to them, that's what it was, right? But for our purpose, it's just a little different. So those are some that I've heard, and we try to dispel in our housing workshops that we do monthly.
Mhm.
Well, we've talked a lot about realty, and I guess we also are realtor. So let's transition into the Paragon organization. So can you please expand upon that and tell us what that is and what exactly do y'all do?
So the Paragon Foundation, I founded in 2015 after my Carnival Queen reign. I'm the first queen of the Crew of Athena Carnival Club. During that time, I had a community service effort called More Than a Crown campaign, where I hosted different community service events in and around the greater New Orleans area. I wanted to continue those efforts, so I developed what I called then the Paragon Society, which was a group of women who served the community in and around the greater New Orleans area. In 2023, after I founded my brokerage in 2021, I saw a need to really be more invested in the community in the way of mentoring young ladies of color who are coming basically behind us. So the Paragon Foundation leaves the door open for young women of color in the community. We are a mentoring organization for young women of color ages 15 to 18 years old, so typically between 10th and 12th grades. We help them become their very best selves, both personally and professionally. Their experience starts in the summer of every year. We're hosting our Paragon Academy June 2nd to the 6th of this year at Suno, which is another HBCU,
Oop, oop.
small business incubator. A lot of people don't know Suno has a small business incubator, which is a perfect location because the coursework includes personal finance, intro to business and entrepreneurship. We teach them self-defense. We actually have a sensei, a black female sensei that comes in to teach them actual self-defense moves. Intro to yoga and meditation for stress release as well, since they'll be going off to college soon. And then we cap it off with a Black Women in Business site visits. We've visited Mary Mac's Doggy Daycare. We visited Crescent City Chiropractic Clinic. And then throughout the school year, we also have bi-monthly enrichment seminars, which one of my favorite every October, we do take the girls to HBCU tour. We take them to visit the campus. And this past year, we actually took them to a HBCU football game to my alma mater, Jackson State University, when they played Florida A&M.
Okay. So how does the young ladies sign up for this?
So our website is www.paragonfoundationnola.org. You can go to the Paragon Academy page. The application is there. We'll be accepting applications until May 17th, 2025. And we'll be reviewing applications as soon as we get them. Yeah, so that's where they can go and apply.
All right. So earlier you hit me up for a fundraiser that you guys are having. Can you speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, so we do have a fundraiser every spring. This spring, we're having a Jazz Fest raffle until Wednesday, April 23rd. So we just have about 2 more weeks. It's $20 to enter. You can enter on our website, paragonfoundationnola.org. First prize is a pair of tickets to Jazz Fest the second weekend. Second prize is a Costco membership. And third prize is a Visa gift card, a $50 Visa gift card. So,
Does these tickets include parking and food and drink?
well, yes, we're actually having our raffle drawing happy hour at Ray's Uptown on Britannia, and we actually have $5 martinis from 7 to 10. So that's kind of our thank you for coming out. And yes, and buying our raffle, and hopefully, we can have a very productive, and because this is actually our third cohort of girls coming in this summer. So June 2nd through 6th.
So what made you or what gave you the vision for Paragon?
I think just my love for the community, me wanting to acquire knowledge and then impart that knowledge on young ladies who, are coming up after me. Coming up in this city, honestly, we deal with a lot of gatekeeping, a lot of, nepotism, so it's good to, open the door for young women who might not have the opportunity. I don't come from an affluent family, but I made my own way. I built my own table. So I want to help these girls to also make their own way and give them the knowledge that I wish was imparted on me.
Fantastic.
So, with all that being said, we have a women's empowerment event coming up on October the 3rd of 2025 here on the campus of Xavier University. So we're going to ask you, as Ayana Foltz, the owner, proprietor of Bell South Realty, the founder of the Paragon Society, to be a part of that particular event. We will have some real estate going on with that event. It's all about empowering women and having women to do their best, but not only to do their best, but show others their best. So we also want your young ladies of the Paragon Society that have been going to these trainings and all this other stuff that you have coming forward to be there as well.
Okay.
So like I said, that will be Friday, October the 3rd, 2025 at Xavier University. And as I always say, stay tuned. More information will be coming forward soon.
Yes, yes, yes. So I just want to jump in real quick because as a member of the board of directors of the Regional Black Chamber of Commerce, we're always asked, why should I join the Regional Black Chamber of Commerce? And the answer is quite simple. And we've given this answer a number of different times, but I give you 3 reasons, right? Number one, the buying power for black businesses is on the rise. More and more large companies are looking to partner with minority businesses. And where would you find the largest collection of minority businesses other than the Regional Black Chamber of Commerce? Reason number 2 is that same population of large companies and agencies seek out NORBCC because of our ability to effectively connect minority business owners to opportunities. And the third reason is because creating opportunities for our members is our top priority. It's our goal to ensure our member businesses and organizations bring value to the business community, that they are competitive and be sustainable for future generations. So those are just 3 reasons why you should consider joining the Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. And more information can be found on our website at norbchamber.org/about. So norbchamber.org is where you'll find more information and the happenings around the Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. So we want to jump back in with Miss Ayana.
I got a question with regard to that.
Go ahead.
So, Ms. Foltz, you have been a long-standing member of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber. 2 questions. Why did you join, and how has your experience been with the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce?
I think being around like-minded individuals, when you are a business owner, when you're an entrepreneur, you just have a different type of focus. Like, let's get down to business. And also being able to walk away from many of the events and programming with, a wealth of knowledge. I feel like, after I leave events, I've been edified. I've met, such and such a person, and that's, getting me here where I want to be, and I'm helping them get there. So it's a community experience, and I appreciate it.
All right. So we're approaching the end of our time, but we got time for a few more questions. So I will ask this.
Okay.
What has been your most rewarding moment so far in your entire career? I know your career spans a number of different organizations, your own business, and philanthropy. But what has been the most rewarding moment so far?
It's so many. It's either between welcoming people to the city of New Orleans as their real estate representative, or helping that family, buy their first property, something that they never thought that they would do, being, a help in the generational wealth creator, or, helping people escape foreclosure. Like, I've seen all different sides of real estate, the ugly sides. I've cried at closing tables with clients who finally escaped, finally got out of, the stress of the mortgage company hounding them. So I've had many. That's a big question because I've had many great moments.
So, as it relates to when clients choose Bell South Realty Group, what do you hope they walk away feeling?
Like family, like they can always call us if they have any issues or if they have a daughter or son, and we have helped entire families, get into homes, build generational wealth for the entire family. I just want them to feel comfortable and like I'm a real person. I'm not, I'm just not about a dollar. I'm about making sure you're comfortable, you're in a place that you want to be financially and physically.
All right, people. We have a little time left. So if you want to join the conversation or you just have something to say, call in at 504-582-9422.
And while we're waiting, we're going to ask you for that. What's the one piece of advice that you would like to give to a young person, either wanting to come up in real estate or to create an opportunity of maybe giving back, like you have through the Paragon?
I think my biggest advice is always to be authentic to you, to who you are. Bell South Realty Group is authentic to me because I call myself the Southern Belle of Real Estate. So it works for me. Working with young African American women, it works for me because I remember being them and wanting that help. So once I found me, I found my purpose, and everything just kind of flowed, including my businesses and nonprofit.
All right, people. Well, listen, Ayana, thank you so much for joining us
Thank you for
today. It's been a
having me.
pleasure to bring this information to the people of New Orleans. And the Regional Black Chamber of Commerce also thanks you all for tuning in to this week's episode. And my name is Anthony Bridges, Community Development Lender with NOLA Lending Group. And
That would be Coulon Smith, Chairman of the Board, New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. Tune in next week, where our guest will be Ms. Tamika Tyler of the Right Touch Mobile Massage. So please call in, please join us, and go look her up. She does some of the best massages in the world.
see y'all next week.
Peace.